Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Monkey Drew, and I'm here once again to do my breakdown for My Hero Academia Season 6, Episode 4, titled Inheritance. And getting right into the breakdown, this episode covers multiple chapters with certain parts not included. Because this episode covers 267 up until page 19 and 21, the entirety of chapter 268, chapter 269 up until page 14, and chapter 270 up until page 18. When it comes to the beginning of this episode, it's pretty much a recap told through the perspective of Tokoyami when it comes to what the character and who the character of Hawks is. And how when it comes to this introduction to this episode, as well as some other aspects of this episode, it just shows how My Hero Academia isn't just a one-for-one adaptation as it was seen in the manga. How certain scenes are being moved around to fit better with the anime, which I think is very cool and great when it comes to an adaptation for an anime. And after that Tokoyami recap, we also get the hints at Tokoyami potentially seeing Hawks coming out of the building and flying back in. And getting into a newer stuff in this episode, we once again get anime original scenes of the police officers monitoring the situation with the heroes at Gunga Mountain and at the hospital. But unfortunately, there isn't really actually new material in this part that is of substance. So I probably will not be bringing this up in future episodes unless something big or massive happens when it comes to the police officers in this season. But from there, we do focus a little bit more on the conversation that Hawks has with Dabi after Twice's death, and how this section of the episode has been done very well when it comes to their interactions, their movements, and how Dabi is just hammering in on Hawks with his fire. But there is a new added scene of a close-up of Twice's dead body, which adds emphasis to the fact that he is dead and that this is an important thing that Hawks has done that could be very detrimental or very pivotal in this arc. And when it comes to this part of the anime involving Dabi and Hawks, in the manga, there is a scene where Dabi reveals some information to Hawks about who he is, and that there is a difference between the anime and the manga by the fact that they are in very different mediums. In the manga, you just have Dabi saying something, most likely revealing who he is, but it's shaded in a black box. But in the anime, we have Dabi revealing his name, but it's done in complete silence. No music, no voices, obviously. And how that silence lingers a little bit before the music comes back, making it more thrilling and more ominous for what this name could entail. And I think the anime did an amazing job adapting this scene from the manga. Going from the interactions between Dabi and Hawks from that cut, we cut to what's going on with Mirko fighting against these high-end Nomus, and you can tell that this part of the episode was done by a very specific animator by the fact of how fluid these motions are and how dynamic her action and fighting is in that moment. And what I also like about what they're doing is that we get a little bit more up close and personal with Mirko, and we get to see how much damage is being done to Mirko by these Nomu by having parts of her flesh being shown on screen, where in the manga it was never that clear or as explicit as it is in the anime, because we get to see it more up close. And we also get to see animated scenes of Endeavor coming in and Aizawa being able to erase the Nomu's quirks as Mirko is trying to attack and destroy the capsule that Shigaraki is in. But we also get to see more dynamics of Lady versus the heroes in this chapter, with her bouncing around a lot more, moving more dynamically through this area, as well as we get a more interesting way where Lady is monitoring the situations and realizing that her quirk is being shut off by Eraser, and it's done by having a close-up of her brain and the brain being active and the synapses going off, which makes sense because we literally see that her brain is out and about, So I think that this is just a cool and interesting way to add to how Lady is just pretty much explaining what's going on and monitoring the situation, but like I said, done in an interesting way. And when it comes to after the scene with Lady, we also get once again, a very dynamic and fluid scene with Dr. Garaki after Mirko breaks and cracks the glass. And we also get to see another scene of the Doctor being extremely fluid and dynamic, which is most likely from another animator in this episode. So we got a cool scene with Present Mike. I would also like to bring to your attention how amazing Shigaraki falling out of the tube and hitting the ground looks like in the anime. It looks amazing as well. And from here, we're approaching more of the end of this episode and the highlight of this episode as well. Because when it comes to the Doctor's speech, nothing much of what he says in his speech in the anime is drastically different from what it was in the manga. And if you could tell, most likely than not, this is just the anime reusing the exact same scene and the exact same running animation for Mike to most likely save a little bit more time and budget when it comes to the anime. The highlight of this episode comes from what were perceived to be Shigaraki's final moments of his life flashing before his eyes, and how he appears in this sort of white void room where everything is destroyed. Buildings are underneath him, but he's floating in the air, and the perspective of this entire shot is amazing. Because pretty much from what we can see, everything is moving, but everything is also turning, and that Shigaraki isn't stationary, but Shigaraki is not in one stationary position, he is also moving, rotating, and changing perspective. We see the changes in perspective multiple times as everything seems to be disorienting as well, which makes sense for what this scene is representing. And I would like for you to pay attention to the fact that Shigaraki in this death world reverts back to Tenko, but he is still very much that of Shigaraki. Keep that in mind because this could be coming up later on in the series. But as this is all happening and this death montage begins to end, Shigaraki's family tries to cling to him and prevent him from going to All for One. Scene transitions to Shigaraki waking up from this death-like state, seemingly by the effect of electricity shocking him back to life, as we get a very great scene of Shigaraki's eye being open, identifying that he is alive and is about to be reawakened. And that this is a brand new scene that we do not see in the manga that adds to this moment as the episode ends. But yeah, that's pretty much my breakdown for this episode of My Hero Academia. What did you think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? I thought that it was amazing. But you can leave your thoughts down in the comments. And don't forget to leave a like on the video if you liked it and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!